So I'm sure most of you have seen CEO by now. There was a lot of memorable moments that came out of the tournament. Overall, I was pretty entertained by it, but there was one moment in particular that stuck out to everybody, and it was during Tekken 8's pool matches, and it was between a player called Reborn and a player called Skylar. Now, a lot of you probably know Skylar. I know Skylar myself. I've watched a couple of her streams. I wasn't aware of Reborn before this, but after this situation has blown up, I'm fully aware now. Skylar had faced Reborn online, and she'd beaten him, and she trash talked him.
You're not hitting me with that. Jeez, you suck, man. You're gonna play King and lose that badly.
Get ready for the...
And when I look at that clip, I don't see someone being toxic. I see a fighting game player doing what fighting game players have always done, ripping into somebody's gameplay, which is a very normal thing. At least it's normal to me. Like, calling somebody trash at the game after you've beaten them seems very normal. I wouldn't class that as toxic. But if you chat shit about somebody, you need to be prepared if they come back and they beat you, and you need to take that out. And so we fast forward to CEO, where Reborn and Skylar are matched up, and this happened.
The
right head drop.
No, not like this.
Oh.
Not like this. A muscle buster.
Still alive. Roll. Oh.
The crowd is going nuts.
Yeah, the crowd is going crazy. Wow. Wow. Yo, shout outs to Reborn though. Getting it done with the king. Shout outs that she was not happy.
Now, in my opinion, that is a justifiable pop-off. You chat shit, you gotta get ready to back up. And I think Skylar understands that. We all understand that. It's part of the game. I don't think it's toxic for him to do that. I don't think it's toxic for her to talk shit. As long as it's all kept on the game, as far as I'm concerned, it's all good. Calling somebody's king shit is not cussing their mum, and popping off in their face for talking shit about their gameplay is not cussing their mum. There's nothing personal being done here, right? Well, trust Twitter to take this situation and just turn it into a disgusting, ugly little thing. Now, let me reiterate. I don't find anything that Skylar did to be toxic. As a matter of fact, I don't find Skylar to be a toxic individual. I've seen some people calling her the LTG of Tekken. I've seen people saying that she's bad for the community, that she deserves what she got, and I mean beyond the actual gameplay, like they're calling her a bad person, calling her names. We're going to go over some tweets in a moment. And if you think that I'm exaggerating, you can go and check out the repost. There's even someone that had to go as far as to tell people, can you please stick to the game and stop insulting the girl? Like, you guys are making this personal now, and it doesn't need to be personal. Now, it was a funny moment. I think we can all agree it was pretty funny. I've talked shit to people before. I talked shit to one guy before, and I was on a streak on Street Fighter 4, like winning money matches. And then this guy came to my house. He beat me after I spoke shit, and I had to run him his money. And the worst part was that I didn't even withdraw the money because I thought I was so confident with my bison at the time that I didn't think he'd do it. And he absolutely battered me. And then he spoke shit to me for years after that. I just had to hold it. But he kept it to the game. He never insulted me. Not once, not personally, which was very normal. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I've actually got somebody here from the old Tekken scene, way back when, who wants to sort of give his thoughts on that as well, but we'll get there in a moment. Let me read some of these tweets to you. So you've got Millie here saying, everyone is a saint all of a sudden and never trash talked in a rank match. And the reason that Millie is saying that is that when you read through these responses, the way people are acting towards Skylar as if she has declared war on some sort of country or she's punched someone's baby. She insults people when she's playing the game, which is very normal. I do that all the time. If you ever come to my streams and I beat people in my community, yeah, it's all in good fun. Like, it's not personal jabs, guys. Sam responded saying, when I first saw the reactions, I thought she went on some long rant bashing the guy and that was their history. All I saw was a 5-second clip calling him trash out of frustration. We all called dozens of online randos trash after winning best of threes out of frustration. And Millie said, right, and that's true. Like, whatever fighting game I'm playing, like, I'll give you guys an example. I'm playing a lot of Rebirth of Souls lately, and I've been working my way up the leaderboard. And on my way up the leaderboard, you're fighting the more high level people, and the more high level people obviously using the characters that would be considered more cheap. I come across a lot of Stark players, right? Stark is a hold your hand character. He's borderline broken. And whenever I beat them, I always cuss them out. I'm like, oh, you're crap. How could you lose to Stark? I'm not cussing the guy. You might be a nice guy. I'm cussing you and your character, like the gameplay. I'm not making it personal. Like, people are making this whole thing personal. I even commented because I thought it was funny, and I said if the law permitted it, he might have caught a haymaker. She looked absolutely disgusted. And if you take a look at her face, yes, if she could get away with punching him, I'm pretty sure she would have slapped him one. I'm joking. I don't think she would have done that. I think she's matured up. I'm just saying she looked disgusted. discussed it. It was pretty funny. But then you get to these more degenerate comments, and there were loads of them. I've only screenshot a few of them. Now, Skylar is a woman, okay? Skylar's a woman. I don't know where people are getting this from, but she's a woman. But people are commenting saying, is she, you know, that voice is deep as hell. And Lord Canty responds saying, what does it matter? The focus is what she said about Reborn, and that's it. Now, even if Skylar was trans, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Why are you even asking? We're talking about a game. There's like a rivalry brewing here. Something that could actually be a lot of fun to watch. Like, I personally want Skylar to go into the hyperbolic time chamber, train her ass off, and then come back and challenge him. And I even said to Reborn that it would be great to see you guys do a run back. And he liked it. He liked the message. So I'm assuming he'd be up for that as well. That's what we want to see. I don't want Reborn to be insulted because he's black, or Skylar to be insulted because she has a slightly deeper voice than some of the girls you might have listened to. And some of you have obviously not been outside, because Skylar doesn't sound like a man. She sounds like a woman. Just goes to show, maybe you're too busy watching these Rent-A-Girlfriend animes or anything. You think all girls sound like that. You got another one here saying, this rude, I don't think I can say that word on YouTube, got what he deserved, LMAO. And it's always the anime profile pictures. They've always got so much to say, so much vitriol, when this is all about trashing each other's characters. Like, some of you would not have survived in the arcades, and I don't mean that to sound like some old timer talking down to younger players, but it's true. Like, if you think Skylar ripping into people's characters is grounds to then start attacking her personally, you are soft. You're fragile. That Dr. Doom guy that was on stage and he was saying the FGC's gone soft, yes, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. You're soft if you see someone and they're crapping on your character and then you make it personal. You're soft. This person here who, you know, I've just pulled this up because these were examples like of people. I don't know if people are making like dummy accounts because they don't want to be found out. But you've got this message here, just calling her names, like, unnecessarily. Again, it feels more from these sort of comments that it's because it's a woman that was doing what men normally do on these games, where we trash each other, and it's very normal. I saw this one where it said, nah, after finding out why, I would have done worse. I don't know what that means. Maybe it just means a pop-off. I don't know. But a lot of the comments, again, I have to stress, here you've got from Speed Kicks as well. Someone said to him, that's a dude, isn't it? I don't know what they're looking at. Skylar doesn't look anything like a man. I know what some of you are going to say. She ain't going to fuck you, bro. I know, trust me, I've heard that bot reply before when I've spoken about women. You can try something else. It's not original. Go for something brand new. I'll maybe entertain it in the comments section. Speed Kicks responds saying, I actually have no clue if she was born male or female, but I can say with 100% certainty that you were born a waste of space. And that is the perfect response to people like this. If you're looking at this fun moment between these two individuals that maybe they don't like each other, but it's about the game, and this is where your mind goes, you're an idiot. Like, you're an actual waste man. And then this guy here goes, Speed Kicks, why did you respond to him that harshly? He just wants to know the gender. I want to know what made you angry about his question. What made Speed Kicks angry about the question is, what the hell does Skylar's sex have to do with them playing the game? And why do you want to know? What's a weird thing to ask? You see someone playing a game, you see a pop-off, you take a look at the person and go, is that a man? That's weird. That's weird.
Weird.
And as I said, people were putting disclaimers up because of how many just ridiculous comments were coming through about the situation. You've got Lord Canty here again saying, hey, I hope this doesn't need to be said, but there is no need to make this about gender, race, or ideology. It's strictly about the game and avenging your previous losses. Run the sets and hit the lab. Like, I'm flabbergasted at how we've got here. I'm bamboozled at how we've gotten here. How we can't just stick to the game. So yeah, when Dr. Doom, Joe Budden, the guy that was playing in the Tekken tournament, got disqualified the other day, when he said the FGC is soft, he was 100% correct. You've got this guy here as well, which I was reading through his posts, and people kept on asking, what's the story with this girl? What's the story with this girl? And every single post, it was like, she's toxic. She's a toxic Kazuya player. She's a toxic this. She's a toxic that. I was like, bro, what has she done? Guys, honestly, is this where we are? Have our spines left our backs? It's toxic now to cuss somebody's gameplay out. Haven't we been doing this since the dawn of time? Not cussing each other, cussing the gameplay. Why is that suddenly become a thing that garners you hate? That's so weird. But you know what? You've heard from me, and obviously you guys that come to the channel regularly, you know that I'm from the arcade scene. I grew up playing the arcade games in Trocadero, Goodge Street, wherever we could find arcades, we were there. Now, I was one of the younger ones in the arcade scene, admittedly. There were some OGs there. And there was one OG in particular that goes by the name of Cobra Commander, who is aware of the situation, and he wanted to give his thoughts on it. Now, for those of you that don't know Cobra Commander, he is a legend in the UK when it comes to Tekken. Doesn't play Tekken 8 because he just can't stomach it, to be honest with you. Tekken 7 was kind of the last one that he dabbled in, but he was very big in Tekken 6, like very, very big. But he'd been there from the beginning. He was running long sets on Tekken 2, which you'll hear about in a moment. He's also a battle rapper in the UK. He's a very accomplished battle rapper in the UK and Denmark.
My initial reaction upon being called into action by Bloodstrom was a feeling of pleasant satisfaction. However, that stopped suddenly when he informed me that a subhuman by the name of Crumpet had summoned me. Unfamiliar with that name, I skimmed over one video from Dubstandard, then took one look at his Twitter page and felt nothing but rage. Hold on. I took to my rhyme book angrily, insulted at the amateuristic audacity of this poor excuse for a parody, thinking he was a match for my mental capacity. My subconscious started telekinetically throwing chairs.
He wants to weigh in on the situation so that you're not just hearing it from me. This is one of the OGs. Like, I mean, from the beginning, because I was a kid when these guys were playing Tekken at a high level. I was just present for it. These guys were there competing. So he's just going to give you a bit of backstory on how things were back then and why he thinks that the FGC has gone soft as well, and why he thinks the people that are saying these things, of which there were plenty, I only screenshot a few, are absolute weirdos, and you're making the whole situation weird.
The time where I'm from, like I said, I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've not been on your show a lot, but every time on your show, I never hesitate to remind people of the time where I'm from as a point of reference more than anything else. And with the time I'm from, shit talking and mudslinging was the norm. It was the norm. It was to get in people's heads, and it was also for people who didn't like each other on like games. We popped off all the time. Popping off was normal. You even had people who were known for popping off. People screaming in your ear, like me, going, ah! You ask anybody. Ask Starscream, ask Ryan, ask Saki, Gordon, anybody of the old school guys who were there. Ask Dino. Everybody knows Cobra used to scream in your ear, ah! Like that. Imagine me perfecting you with law or keep parrying you and doing shit, and then you, ah! Yeah, in your ear, and there's nothing you could have done because that's how it was then. People used to talk to you while they were playing Saki with like a woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. So I'm saying all of this to say stuff like that was normal. So her saying, oh, your shit, your king is shit, is normal. That's even nice. That's civil, bro. This stuff that she's doing is civil. That is civil compared to the stuff we used to say. Like, you would want to go, you see, it's not like before. I mean, it's not like now, sorry. It's not like nowadays where you can keep playing and playing and playing because everything is online now and everything. So you can keep playing and all this stuff. Then we had credits. So you had finite resources. Once your resources, aka money, ran out, unless you were rich, unless you had a lot of money to throw down the drain into arcade slots, you needed to make every fight count. And once that person had your number and you put in your last pound or your last 50p or you're on your last credit and you die and they make that noise, you had to take it. You had to take it. You had to carry it. You had to carry that shit. So that's what happens. That's the normal. I think people today are also soft. It depends what's said, obviously. Everything has its limits. Because at the same time, we shit talked, but at the same time, we knew where the line was drawn. It was common sense. There's no, oh, but maybe this person, that's just how this person is. No, we knew where the line was drawn. If you start talking about race in a really derogative, disrespectful manner, saying, oh, you N-word this, or you P-word that, or you C-word this, or you know, when I say with races, you know, people are going to know what I mean. You know, this and that, or terrorist or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you say that to the wrong person and you get dealt with. That's how it was. That's how it was. Is it right? No, but that's how it was. Because it kept people grounded. Stuff like that, that scene, that climate kept people grounded. It made people very aware and mindful of the stuff that they said and not get too excited and think that they were entitled to say everything and not get any consequences for it. That there would be no consequences or reprisal for what they said. So this is where it comes in. Now, granted, the guy got his revenge, right? He got his a revenge on her in tournament. It doesn't get any better because you did it in person. There is better satisfaction, no better satisfaction than beating somebody person, in their face. There's no excuses. You can't use lag. You can't use input this or that. Blah blah blah. You beat them in person in the tournament for the world to see. It doesn't get any more satisfying than that. So I don't get why people are getting where's the, oh, is she a man, is she trans, where's this coming from? And even if she was trans, let's just say for the sake of argument that she was trans, what does this have to do with anything? You know, what does this have to do with anything? It had nothing to do with anything. So this is what I mean, and this is where the line is drawn. Trans people are not new. They've existed like we've had them in my day as well. We've had them during the Tekken. We've had them. It's nothing new. But we never dissed them for being trans, or we never brought that into the equation of Tekken. If that person was good, that person was good. Trans, mutant, robot, Grimlock, Grendel, whoever. If Grendel is tick, then Grendel is good, isn't it? Like, you know, so I don't get this whole, but this is from probably cowards behind the keyboard that you'll probably never see in person. But this is the age that we live in. And this is why I don't play a lot of Tekken. Not because, well, basically because I think Tekken 8 is shit, but also because it's not fulfilling for me anymore. It doesn't stimulate me the way that it used to, because I think playing somebody in the flesh is better. Traveling to play that person, it meant something. When you traveled to a session, when you traveled to Hollow's place, or to Cobra's place, or to Ezzy's place, or to Starscream, Ryan, whoever, you name it, Xavier, and I'm naming all these names because the real heads know. You know what I mean? You had to be there. So when you traveled to these places, it meant something. Even when I lived in Denmark, the sessions, we used to travel to Casper's house, to Mark's house, to Adnan, whoever. They came to mine, whoever. But the point is that it meant something. It meant something because you made an effort. Now you just turn on your machine. Now, I'm not saying that online shouldn't be a thing, but trust me, there is a difference because I can use my reference because I was there. So I know the feeling. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a Cobra thing. But at the end of the day, certain things, many things, would not be said in people's faces. All this noise that people talk about. Oh, is that a man? Would you go to that person and say, "Excuse me, are you a man?" You're shit, man. Look at you. You're a man, though. You're trying to be a girl, but you're a man. You wouldn't say that to that person. You would risk embarrassment, not to mention possibly a severe beating from that person too. You know? So, and people wouldn't stand for it anyway. You couldn't bully people like that. Not in our house. In places like Good Street, play to win. There were too many factors that would make you think 2 or 3 times about saying toxic stuff like that. Because that is truly toxic stuff. And it's nonsensical stuff because it has nothing to do with anything. Was that when we played, there were things on the line. I can tell you about times, and this is during Tekken 2, where certain people played. I think it was Amraj and Wing. These are 2 legends in the Tekken scene, right? And when Tekken 2 came out on the PlayStation 1, you remember that it was £120, right? On release, it was £120. I remember I was still in high school then. It was like 15. I think I was 15. And these dudes had a first to 100, right? And what happened was the loser had to break their Tekken 2 copy in half. So remember, it came on the CDDs, right? They had to break their 120-pound Tekken 2 copy in half. The loser. So the first to get to 101, and the loser had to do that. There was other times, like I said, like this was, look, there were things on the line. So shit talking was a part of the game, something that you had to block out at all costs. Because as soon as you let it get to you, you start to lose. You definitely start to lose. You lose your focus, and then you start to lose. You make stupid mistakes, you rush in, and you eat a juggle. And you eat a godfist or a counter hit 4. That's what used to happen. You know, another thing where I was playing VF against this guy one time in the arcade. So this guy was a known VF player. He was one of the VF guys. But the VF guys, a lot of them didn't think that I could play VF. They just saw me as Tekken. Oh, the law guy. They didn't know that I could play VF. They didn't know that I played other games. So I wasn't like a proper expert at like VF, but I beat very high level people at the time. So I was better than people gave me credit for. So I used to use Leife. So this guy put in his money. I put in my money. I challenged him. Kept beating him. Now, in this case, I didn't say anything. And he got more angry and angry. He would go to the machine to get more money. He would come back, get his ass whipped. He would get more red, like lobster red. Can't believe this is happening, man. And I was laughing till I was crying. I didn't diss him, but I was laughing. Gah, 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 gah. All these mix-ups with Leife, punch parries and everything. Gah, 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 gah. So I would laugh. Gah, 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 gah. So it got to the point where this guy got so angry, right? He got so livid that he ripped up his £5 note. That's how angry he was. Nonsensical, absolutely. But he was that angry because he felt helpless. He felt helpless. That's how things used to be. So I could have easily added insult to injury and dissed him. But you see, I'm a person of honor. As much as I like a good laugh and a good wind-up, when somebody's in that phase, in that state of mind, you don't want to add to it, because what I felt was, I don't want this guy to do something stupid. And by doing something stupid, I mean self-harm or self-delete, because it's known to happen. That's how intense and passionate people were, and prideful people were about their fighting games. So this is what I mean. So talking shit is part of the game. What I don't tolerate is things that have nothing to do with the game. If somebody beats me and they're fat, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you fat bitch." No. If a trans person beats me, I'm not gonna say, "You trans bitch." No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I'll say, "Oh, you're a fucking cheat." I used to get angry. My temper used to be red hot. So I used to get angry and I'd say, "You fucking cheat. You scam. You masher. You fucking Mishima whore." Yeah, that, because that's within the confines of the game. Anything else is basically sour grapes. And anything else that has nothing to do outside the confines of the game, outside the game's compound, immediate circumference, is just in poor taste. It's in bad taste.
So guys, that was Cobra Commander, and those were my thoughts on the situation. Personally, I hope Reborn and Skylar do a trilogy match. I think a 1st to 10 with some money on the line to like bring this to a close would be amazing. I mean, that's what we in the FGC love. Not all of this personal attacks, not all of the drama that goes on, even though there's plenty of it, and granted I do cover it on here. What we really love are these sort of things. There's a legitimate beef set that could be had here that could be so much fun, but we don't need weirdos making this situation into a sort of thing that doesn't have to be. It can be about the game, and it can be an amazing thing. It can go down in FGC history. It can be part of the lore where Skylar or Reborn came out on top after this, and you know, I'm sure the Score Esports will probably make a documentary on it. It could be something cool without people injecting their stupidity into it. So to reiterate, to close off the video, it's not toxic if you come into my lobby, I bat you and I call you shit. We've been doing that for ages. It's just for the longest time, we would go out and have a steak afterwards, or we would shake hands, or we'd have a laugh. Now, in my community, that's what we do. That's the kind of environment I've tried to foster. We rip into each other in the game, but we never make it personal. Some of you don't know what the word toxic means, and you throw it around very flagrantly. Nothing wrong with insulting a bit of gameplay. Everything wrong with making it about other things that have nothing to do with the gameplay. So some of you, in my opinion, respectfully need to grow up.